I'm not talking about clinical depression, and I'm not talking about trauma. I'm talking about the millions of people, mostly young men, who feel tired, foggy, miserable, and unmotivated every single day. And it's not because they're depressed, it's just because they're eating garbage. And I know this because I was one of them. This is how I operated for pretty much my entire adult life up until this year. And I thought I was doing nothing wrong. I thought that I was healthy and I didn't know what I was missing out on. I gymmed consistently. I've gymmed every week for the last 10 years. I looked lean relative to the population. My body fat's probably been between 14 and 16%. It's not shredded, but it's definitely leaner than the average guy you see out there these days. And I assumed that I was good enough. This is just what I looked like. This is just what I felt like. This was just normal. What I didn't realize is that my energy, my sleep, my focus, my training, all of it was running at only 60% of what it could have been. And because that level of dysfunction is normal for most people, I just thought it was adulthood. I just thought this is the way things are. This is the way a human body feels. Like, maybe I'm getting older. Maybe that's why I just feel a bit less energetic. But that was all bullshit. And this year, everything changed for me. Here's what an actual day, just a typical average day of eating looked like for me a year ago. Breakfast would be fruit and yogurt. I thought that was just a standard, healthy, nice, light way to start the day. Mid-morning when I was back living in New Zealand would have probably been a bakery pie around about 10 o'clock in the morning. Lunch would be something like a sandwich, sushi, perhaps, Subway, a foot-long sub, basically anything of that nature, a standard sort of takeout. And dinner would generally be completely variable. If I was cooking, it might be something a bit healthier, might be chicken and rice. If it was a busy work day, it would really genuinely be whatever the fuck I felt like. It might have been pizza, it might have been burgers, might have been Uber Eats, just whatever. Nothing insane, and certainly not obese person levels of eating. Just normal food, and that's the point. The normal diet in the modern Western world is absolute garbage. It's ultra-processed, hyper-palatable sludge that destroys your physiology. The real problem isn't the occasional blowout day. It's the everyday trash that we call normal eating. And here's the fucked up part. Some of the foods that we call healthy are actually metabolic poison. Sushi, for example. In New Zealand, there's this idea that sushi is healthy. The sushi in New Zealand is 3 to 4 times the size of normal sushi, and it's mostly deep fried and drenched in mayonnaise. That's not sushi. Fruit and yogurt sounds healthy, and under certain circumstances it is, but it's got barely any protein and no satiety. Sandwiches like Subway, full of processed meats, sauces and oils, just total calorie bombs. I wish someone had explained all of this to me 10 years ago. I thought I was doing fine, and I wasn't even close. I was totally clueless. And when I started to self-educate only this year, I realized something interesting. This fact really hit me. Sugar and fat do not exist together in nature, in the same food, in any meaningful quantity. It's either high carb foods, such as fruit, for example, or high fat foods, such as nuts or animal meats. Humans evolved with one or the other. We never had both at once. And this is important to understand when you consider modern food. Open up Uber Eats on your phone and have a scroll and look at the things that you see. Every single product is sugar and fat, deep fried and sweet, creamy and carby, oil and sugar. And your brain literally has no evolutionary mechanism to handle that combination. It hijacks your dopamine, spikes glucose, and crashes your energy. And it turns you into a zombie. We are biologically defenseless against the modern menu. Like, if you want a genuine mindfuck, try and order something healthy on Uber Eats. Like something genuinely healthy. Scroll through 20 different restaurants. It's just deep fried sludge, sugar glazed sludge, or oil soaked sludge, or all three of them combined. Everything is literally engineered to keep you fat, inflamed, under-muscled, and tired. And most people walk through life thinking that their personality's broken, when really it's just their inputs. And this is the part that pisses me off the most. None of this is taught in school, despite how important this is. I mean, this is fundamental This is your baseline operating system. This literally impacts how you feel every single day of your life. They don't teach you anything about macros or energy balance. They don't teach you about micronutrients. They don't teach you sleep. They don't teach you hydration. They don't teach you how to fuel a human male. They teach you how to be a good worker, not a healthy animal. I literally had to self-educate on all of this stuff this year at 29 years old after doing it wrong for a decade. And the moment that I fully understood it, everything changed. When you fix your inputs, protein, fats, macros, hydration, sleep, your entire physiology shifts. Your brain turns on, your mood stabilizes, you sleep much more deeply, you recover much faster from workouts, you stop snoring because you lose the neck fat, your confidence literally explodes, people treat you differently, women pay more attention to you, men respect you, and you walk around with more presence. And the insane part is that this isn't a shredded fitness model's lifestyle. This is just what normal feels like. This is what it's supposed to feel like. The old normal was a joke. I just didn't know any different. I was just used to it. And this is the craziest part. Since I got all of this shit dialed in about 6 months ago, I have literally PB'd everything. I ran my first marathon this year. I can run a half marathon casually twice a week if I wanted to. I can run 5 kilometers in under 20 minutes. I can incline dumbbell press my entire body weight. And I can do hours of deep focused work with no crash afterwards. And none of this is discipline or something magical. I'm not preaching anything here. This is literally just chemistry. Now I'm eating like a human instead of a fucking raccoon. Like, here's another crazy thing. I heard that the average American today is fatter than the average American pig. Like, I lost my shit when I heard that, but it's fucking sad if you think about it. It's hilarious, but it's also really sad. Most guys today sit around 25 to 30% body fat. That's over double what we're supposed to be naturally, what your biology is really designed for. Double. The optimal zone for male physiology, as I understand it, is around 10 to 14%. Not shredded, not psycho, not a bodybuilder, and not miserable. Just lean enough for your hormones, sleep, energy, and cognition and performance to actually work properly, to work as intended. Like, I was never obese, and I certainly wasn't even fat by society's standards. I was perfectly within the definition of normal and healthy, but I was way above optimal, and it was costing me so much more than I ever realized. And once I realized it and corrected it and felt what it was like to operate at the new baseline, I got angry that I spent so much time in the dark. To fix all of this, you don't need to be shredded. You don't need to be an athlete, and you don't need to be a fucking lunatic with a food scale that weighs your broccoli. You just need to stop living in a compromised biological state. If you're feeling like this every day, you just feel a bit off, you feel a bit down, you feel a bit like you're running suboptimal, like something's wrong, and you're just eating normal, you're eating the same shit everybody else eats, well, you're not broken, and you're not weak, and you're certainly not depressed. You're underfueled, underslept, you're deficient in micronutrients, you're inflamed, you're dehydrated, and you're literally drowning in hyper-engineered food that your body cannot handle. Fix your inputs and fix your chemistry, and your entire life will tilt upward in ways that you literally can't imagine. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I drop one like this every 48 hours, and I hope to see you in the next one.